His science is an artificer of doom. Yes, we keep on inventing doom. Very skillful we are in creating our own doom. We create misfortunes for ourselves. We invite troubles by our own actions and our own thoughts. We invite troubles. You see. We want to do good to somebody, but we don't know that we are really inviting harm. Not only to us, but also for him. Very often. You see, it's a very wrong way. We think that we are helping him. On the contrary, we are perhaps creating more problems for him, you see. We don't know that. He slays his happiness and others' happiness, others' good, you see. Nothing has he learned from time and its history. So this is how she is tracing the entire achievement of man. See, yes, birth after birth, we have been doing the same thing again and again, again and again, and we have not learned any lesson at all, basically. Even as of old, in raw youth of time, when things had just started, even at that time, when earth ignorant ran on the highways of fate, all forms of evil cling to the world's soul. Yes, they will come, always remain clung to the soul. War making not the sweet smiling calm of life. Battle and rapine, ruin and massacre are still the fierce pastime of man's warring tribe. Yes, this goes on even today. Every day it is happening constantly. And there is not one period of history where this has not happened. There is not one place where this has not happened. It happens everywhere at every moment of time. Constantly is happening, you see. Battle and rapine, ruin and massacre. Today also is happening constantly, you see. Are still the fierce pastimes of man's warring tribe. So we are really tribal people, you see, Worley. An idiot hour destroys what centuries made. We get possessed by some idiotic moment and the whole gain is lost. The whole gain is lost. There was a particular moment when we lent ourselves to the force of evil and it marched over the entire Europe in the Second World War. And when the danger was seen, when Paris was invaded in the Second World War by Hitler's army, suddenly it became such a thing that the entire course of history could be reversed by 50,000 years. 50,000 years. And Shivandu says, I cannot stop, I cannot remain away from that. He had to intervene in the Second World War and he started putting his force there. Paris shall be burned. The devil's dance, that is what the mother was saying in the Second World War. And then Shivandu started putting his force directly in the war at that time, you see. Battle and rapine, ruin and massacres are still the fierce pastimes of man's warring tribe. This is the picture of that. And you can know the Holocaust, the havoc of the Holocaust of that time. An idiot, however, destroys what centuries made. That would have really destroyed the entire civilization and put the clock back by 50,000 years. See? His wanton rage of frenzied hate lays low the beauty and greatness of his genius wrought and the mighty output of a nation's toil. So the whole nation is on the precipice now, you tumble into the abyss, state really that is it. All he has achieved, he drags to the precipice. So all the 2 millennia of civilizational progress will come to a stop at that particular idiot hour. All he has achieved, he drags to the precipice. His grandeur, he turns to an epic of doom and fall, epic of doom and fall. So all our great achievements, see, great glories of science, they are leading to what? Doom and fall. You see. His littleness crawls content to squalor and mud. He calls heaven's retribution to his head. So we are inviting that thing on earth and wallows in his self-made misery. So this is what we are here, a part author of cosmic tragedy. So we cannot escape the blame which is due to on us. We are also accomplices in that cosmic tragedy. We are also part helping that tragedy. His will conspires with death and time and fate. This is what has happened all along, you see. So she is tracing the entire history of man's psychology. His brief appearance on the enigmatic earth ever recurs, but brings no high result to this wanderer to the aeon rings of God that shut his life in their vast longevity. His soul's wide search and ever returning hopes pursue the useless orbit of their course in a vain repetition of lost toil, in a vain repetition of lost toil across a tract of soon forgotten lives. All is an episode in a meaningless tale. So she is summarizing the entire history of mankind since the beginning of time in one particular sentence. All is an episode in a meaningless tale. It is a story which has no content, no meaning, no objective, no purpose at all. It is a meaningless tale. Why? Now she is questioning, why is it all and wherefore are we here? Yes, what are we here then for? She has described the entire history of mankind, the entire history of civilization, the entire history of evolutionary earth she had described. And then she is now questioning, what are we here for? Where from we have come? These are the direct. She has built up the whole background and presenting it to Narad. Look, this is what we are, this is what we have done, and how this has happened, where from, all this, what are we here for? She is asking. Now, we'll see some of these questions in more detail, but let us go back to something very interesting here, which is important also. She is presenting the picture of our history to Narad. And it is in that context she is seeking an answer from Narad. What is our purpose? What are we here for? Our history has been a very miserable history, not a very happy misery at all. It is not a tale worth recounting at all. It is good to forget about the whole thing, but it is so. But we are like that, so why it has happened? Why we have to undergo such a thing? Is it going to be so again and again in future also? Will there be an end to this? Or this will continue to repeat tomorrow also? Yes, this has been history. Will it also go on tomorrow also like that? She has a natural question there. Wherefore we are here? Where from we are here? Why? She's asking. Now, well, before we go further, she has pinpointed her question. She has given the entire essay of man's history in a very brief line. This is what here, and these are the problems. You please give the solution. Narad will offer his solutions, of course. I will give a little homework to you. In the background of this history, what will be your solution? You can give me next week as a homework. This is the situation, and this is what is going to happen here. So, all right, world is like that, etc., etc. What is your solution for that? It is a kind of a natural question we should ask. I would like to ask myself this question. It has been like that. I will get the answer from Narad perhaps, but assume that this is the situation given to you. Then how will you answer? This as a little homework. Yeah. So that is important. But huh? No, why? Why? She's asking, is it going to be like that tomorrow also? Will it be like that again and again? It will repeat. Where is the end to that? What is the solution? And what I am saying, is it right or wrong? It is right. Then why? No, no, you have to find a solution. No, no, as I said, you have fallen into a trap. No, he's going to be a solution also. Okay, all right. Okay, okay, okay. You also give your explanation. Yeah, yeah. You also give your explanation then. Yeah. See, in fact, I will put it this way. I mean, if this is the story told to anybody, not necessarily who has read Savitri or anybody, this is the only part I am now projecting on the world screen. And then I am inviting all the thinkers, philosophers, metaphysicians, or logicians, or who want to call it, the three people, and ask me, okay, please tell me what is the solution for that? What is your interpretation of that? How you are going to look into that problem? I would ask every philosopher. I would ask every philosopher, what is the solution? Narad will give you something of it. That we'll forget about it for the time being. Any leading philosopher, whether it is Plato or Planck or Kant or anybody, what is the solution? What is that you are offering to me for that? You see, Descartes, anybody, you see, scientists, Newton, Einstein. Yes, what is your solution? How you are looking at the problem? Please let me know. Your explanation of that. Are you really worried, concerned about these issues? If you are, then you have to have something in you to give an answer also. If you're not concerned, then ignore, forget about it, you see. Then, you see, then ignore. I will ask for any fellow, Bertrand Russell. I will ask him, okay, this is the thing. Please let me know. What do you think of that, you see? Or, or Derrida, you see. No, this is the thing. Now, how you look at it? And if possible, can you offer a solution? She has prepared the entire essay as a kind of a test for you to answer. She has put the whole thing in a very succinct manner, the entire history of mankind and all that. So, if you are a real thinker, you are concerned about society, about the future and all that thing, you have to come out with an answer. Worth a philosopher worth his salt, you see. Otherwise, no good, you see. Actually, a very similar situation arose, what we are talking here, arose in the case of Ashwapati also. Ashwapati. More or less, a very similar kind of an argument he has put forward, Ashwapati. When Ashwapati is having a rendezvous with the Divine Mother on the threshold mind, she is advising him, go slowly, go carefully, everything will be taken care of. Yes, time is bad, this thing, that thing, I know all that thing, etc. But things will happen. Don't worry about that. I will take care of that thing, you see. And Ashwapati says, I am sorry, I am not going to listen to you. I want you to do something about that. And he narrates the history of time, history of the world. I think we can read that to some extent.